This thing's not on today.
What's that?
Yeah.
All right, there's the light, so let's
Like a cat with the ball of yarn.
call to order the meeting of the February 9th Planning and Zoning Commission, the local planning agency. If I could get, Member Williams, would you like to say a prayer or anything like that?
We can have a moment of silence.
Perfect. We'll do a moment of silence, and then Member Forges, if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so, Madam Clerk, if you give us the roll call, please.
Vice Chair Lomnick,
Here.
Member Mellon,
Here.
Member Forges,
Here.
Member Williams.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, Development Services Member, Mr. Roomer.
Yes, just wanted to call your attention. You see we're missing two people at the meeting tonight. Alternate member Lowe had the fortunate ability to sell his house real quick and find another one in another town, so he's no longer serving on the board.
Amazing.
And Chairman Keller had to resign to run for city office. So we're sitting at two vacancies. And looking at the vacancies, we have two other positions which will be up for reelection in June. So we're looking at how we're going to have the city commission, what time's appropriate to fill those spots. And talking about the election, the next meeting in March falls on the election night. And our city clerk's office and the city attorney's office has to participate in that. So we will not be having a March regularly scheduled planning and zoning meeting due to the election. And under the unique circumstances, it's like a 99% chance there's going to be a runoff in one of the districts. And that runoff would take place 30 days after, which would be April scheduled planning and zoning meeting, at which both the clerk and the attorney have to attend that. So we're have to cancel the April planning and zoning commission meeting. I, at this point, don't have a project-specific site plan or subdivision lined up. I do have some comp plan, some land development code items I'd like to bring forward, but I'm going to look at bringing those forward in May. And if something arises, maybe we would ask for a specially called meeting the last week of April, but I don't really see the need right now.
Cool.
Unless anything changes, we will not be having the March and April Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you.
Awesome. Do we need to vote in a new chairman now, or clerk?
No,
Ms. Clerk?
we'll just status quo until we have a new board.
Perfect. Sounds good. So,
A newly sitting, or whatever you call that.
yeah,
Come.
sounds great. Okay, thank you very much. So,
Actually, hold on, I'm sorry.
oh, please.
Because we could have a meeting or two in the meantime, and we only have a co-chair.
Yeah, I think we ought to, I think we ought to wait till May, and see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
The city commission, will appoint, it kind of depends, Joel Keller could be back on your board if he
Oh,
does not
great.
win the election.
That's
The
even
city
better.
commission appoints him back. I don't know if that will happen or not.
If we had a meeting in May and Member Lomnick could not make it, we wouldn't have a chair or a co-chair. That's,
Okay.
we could still have a quorum.
We would have a quorum. Why don't we appoint or elect someone now to be co-chair, just in case.
in case.
By a bus or something.
Let's hope not.
All right.
Good.
Okay, do we have any, I myself, I would say I would ask for Member Mellon to be that, but if anybody else has any other, if anybody else wants to bring anybody forward, we can vote on it.
Should I make a motion, or
If you would do so, that would be wonderful.
so I move that we elect Chair, Mr. Millen as co-chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Great. Second on that?
And I second that.
Perfect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Welcome. Need a haircut.
Am I gonna get a new shirt for this Coco chair?
What else you got, Mike?
That is it. We can
Cool.
go to the regular, go to your agenda.
All right, I'm going to make an announcement here. City Hall is open to the public. However, attendance inside the Ocoee Commission Chamber is limited to accommodate social distancing and is subject to change based on the governor's executive order. Any interested party is invited to be heard during the public hearing portion of the meeting. The public may call or email comments and/or questions to 407-554-7118 or citizens@ocoee.org. All right, so consent agenda, meeting of minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held December 8th. Can I get a motion, please,
So moved.
to approve? I got a
So moved to
motion?
approve the minutes of the former Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I'm doing that wrong, right? I am. I'm doing that. The consent agenda is for the minutes. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Old business. We have no old business. New business. Crossings at Maguire. This is, we are going to be looking at an annexation, comprehensive plan amendment, and rezoning. Mike Roomer, sir.
Okay, thanks. Yes, so as you stated, we have a project called the Crossings at Ocoee. It's an annexation rezoning, an annexation for one of the parcels, a rezoning for both parcels, the planning and development, small-scale land use amendment on both parcels, from professional office and services to the commercial. And my mouse, there we go. Property is located on the west side of Maguire, north of Roberson, and south of Common and the Turnpike. It consists of, by the property appraisers, total 5.611 acres. It's two parcels. One of them's a rectangle, 4.92 acres, has a single-family home on it. The second parcel is over a half acre at 0.61 acres, has a single-family home on it. The 4.92 acres is in the county zone agriculture. The one in the city is professional office, zoning and land use, and has an existing single-family home on it. And so we have this annexation of the annexation of the larger parcel. In our joint planning area future land use map, from the large parcel down is has a future land use designation of professional offices and services. We, in last year, actually 2 years ago, changed that for this parcel, made it from professional office and services to commercial for the up-and-coming Rustique restaurant. And so this will be a small-scale land use amendment from professional offices and services to commercial for the two properties. They're under 10 acres, so it's small scale. It will require amendment to the joint planning area agreement with Orange County and the joint planning area agreement map specifically. We are we have an additional property that will be applying for an amendment to the joint planning area agreement as well. What you're going to see on the proposed plan unit development, so it's a rezoning to PUD land use plan, is 4 future buildings. First, I'm going to show you, there's an aerial. You can see it. You have a single-family home up here, single-family home. It's really deep and wooded. This is a classic Smiles and I think like an Edward Jones building. The city has a utility facility here. This would be the future Rustique. This will be a 2-story restaurant. We have adjacent is it looks rural, but it's a veterinary office. Those properties are in Orange County, and it was able to come in under the well and septic, so they're still in the county. These will change in the future as they're one of the few more developable pieces left on the south side, but, and we saw that with the Rustique here. On the north side, you have an existing self-storage facility. These are the ground level outside access. You have subdivision to the north side of that. You have subdivision on the west side. The annexation of the property, the large 4.52 acres, is eligible for annexation. It's in our joint planning area. It's adjacent to the city on all sides. It'll reduce the enclave. We provide water and sewer, police, fire. It's a logical extension. This is an existing zoning map. And so the smaller parcel that said has a single family home, it's considered a legally non-conforming use. Once the home stops being a single family home, it has to convert to office or whatever the land use and zoning is. And upon annexation, and so this is our joint planning area and our future land use map. Got to amend that from office professional to commercial. As you see, this one didn't catch up, this map I used. Didn't have the new layer, but this piece is red as well. Did I jump? Before I jumped there, okay. And so the project will have one access point onto Maguire Road. It sits directly across from the Plantation Grove Shopping Center, which has the Publix, the Ellie Lou's, the POPO, and there's a Subway, there's a bank across the road. And the proposed plan. What you're seeing is 4 buildings. We have a bank, credit union, a coffee, and the applicant can expand more on these uses. We have a office retail, and then utilizing a 3-story self-storage facility. We'll draw your attention to the access and to the coffee shop. The site is set up so you enter and get in the queue for the drive-through and you exit back around. You won't exit this point, it's a one-way in. So they'll come back around, move that pinch point away. It met criteria, but we were able to work a way to drive that interaction to the rear. You see a large footprint of buildings, but as we know, the self-storage facilities generate really, really low traffic. There's stormwater retention to the rear. The entire area drains this way and then that way, and there's a little wetland system. If I can show it on the aerial, not wetland system, but drainage system. It goes through here, through this pond, and through there to that pond. It drains that way.
That's the part that exceeds the 100-year flood zone, that back parcel?
Yes, so it would be, I didn't put it on this slide, you have it in your packet, but the way the survey shows is there's a wetland line, there's a pond, and the wetland line cuts through here. When you go to the national wetlands map, it's just around that pond, and it's right, and it dips down here. So at the next stage development, they'll have the wetlands flagged, and we'll know exactly where they are and how that's going to be incorporated in the site.
Will that encroach in the building, the storage building, or are there going to be any mitigation involved?
Yes, there would be. And as you see with this, it's a closed wetland. It doesn't tie in. Like if you can remember the hotel we had on State Road 50, on the south side of 50, it's a wetland going from the turnpike all the way through, and it curves through, goes by the hotel, all the way up into a canal past Maguire. It's a closed wetland. It's really more around these, what were borrow pits back in the day that became ponds, and the wetlands around that.
Can you go back to where you were showing the drive-through real quick?
Yes.
Show me again how that's gonna,
Okay, so when you enter in, you'll enter and it'll be an enter only right here, and then you'll get in the queue for the drive-through. And as you
Right.
come out, it's a one-way. It's got a pork chop that those cars will continue back and exit here. So they're not
Oh, okay,
coming
that's where I
out
was
and turning
lost.
right there,
Okay.
yes.
So they're exiting
Where the
a
bank,
different
they'll
way.
come in and they'll come out, and you'll be here, and it's about 75 plus feet, then you'll get in line to make your exit.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to make sure there was really enough space and,
Yes.
for that.
There
happen.
was technically, but I still said, let's figure something better out, and that's why this is gonna be a one-way in. So you're not exiting here, having the bank exit sort of across from it to get into this lane,
Yeah.
to then exit onto Maguire Road. So the traffic will be coming for the heavier user, in a sense, for the drive-through. They'll actually come out here and then get in the
Here.
lane to exit.
Okay,
They have a transportation study, Maguire Road with these trips. Now, the trips were programmed for office at 6 acres. So it had a assumed amount of trips in the land use. Maguire Road tests fine. There's one element of this site that brought our traffic reviewers' attention that we're going to work on, and it's not in regards to this site plan, it's just something we noticed. The Maguire Road didn't show, but there's an entrance into the shopping center directly across. And it
right.
has a full access left and right. But that access point is less than the 660 to this intersection. And we're gonna look at, as an improvement to Maguire Road in the future, putting a directional left in front of these entrances. So when you're coming south, you can turn left in the shopping center. When you're going north, you can turn left into the site. But when you're leaving the site, you wouldn't be able to make the left exiting. The shopping center has 4 other entrance and exit points, and anyone going south is if they're making a left here, they're going to Roberson, so they can exit at the top. They've got 2 more exits down here. So they have a number of ways. It's just something we're looking at in the future to help with the Maguire Road as it gets nearer and nearer to its level of service. or
Right,
To
which-
exceeding its level of service.
So so I was looking at the report, and it says the intersections will continue to operate satisfactory at the project build-out 2022. But what happens after, I guess what I was
Yeah,
concerned
so
about is
when they
is
do
it
the
gonna?
study, they take in background traffic, they take transportation trips that are approved but not out there yet, like
Yeah.
the Inspiration PD that's developing, those background trips are loaded into the system.
Okay,
And so it's just a recognition that as they go to civil plans, we want to look as a city improvement at that, using the directional left, see if that would be the optimum future. But it's not a result of a development. Because
okay,
they developed Maguire Road with this being a office land use. And we created the left turn in already. It's out there today.
okay,
So the site will be connecting to a city sewer, and there's potable water adjacent to it already. The elevations, this is the coffee shop. This is the bank credit union. The office commercial in the middle, and then you have the self-storage in the rear. What you're seeing is the windows, the front elevation has windows, but the side and rear elevations will not have windows. So as there will be no windows on the 3 sides that would face, you could see from facing towards residential. The windows would only be on the front fascia facing Maguire Road. And so that's a commitment that will be made as part of the plan unit development. And the elevations are in the packet for that purpose as well. The applicant is here. We do have an engineer on the phone. Should you have any engineering questions that either the applicant or I are unable to satisfactorily answer to your satisfaction. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Do you guys have any other questions for staff?
Yeah, I guess I got like 2. Go back to that plan right there. I know with it being another storage building, there's usually big box trucks, you know, a little bit oversized cars. And you know they're gonna be parking right up front of it, you know, to unload if they're moving or what have you. Is there gonna be enough clearance? It's not gonna violate like a fire lane or, which would lead me to my second question. If there was a fire or something, the fire department needs to get their ladder truck or big truck back there, if they're gonna even be able to make that turn
Yes.
on that really tight space.
Yes. Well, generally, the fire department doesn't drive by a fire to park, they park in front of it. So they would be parking anywhere in this area and would have sufficient 400 foot to run the hoses, and they'll have standpipe in that building.
But they're still gonna have to turn around unless they back up.
Yeah, well, if they need, I mean, if they say they did a rescue call for more of an ambulance type of they have sufficient, has been put through the auto turn.
Okay.
If they do come down here, yes.
The property to the south, the first parcel there, are there any,
This parcel?
correct, are there any contingency from the city to create an exit or fare through within both properties in the future?
No, the Rustique property is way far ahead. That's where their stormwater pond is. There was no, we looked at that, but there's not an opportunity to make that work.
To make that?
Yes, because the sites all drain from south to north and then go that way, so their pond's gonna be in the back there. The Rustique pond will be taking up all of this.
And they can't, I mean, it cannot be re-engineered to make the traffic flow a little bit better from one property? Because Rustick's gonna be on, is it?
Robertson.
Is it more? Robertson,
Robertson.
yeah. I mean, it would make it a whole lot easier
Yeah, but we
if
can't
there was
just
some
take
kind
their,
of.
We've already
No,
proved
I
it.
understand.
we can't just take their property for an egress.
Well, I mean, yeah,
understand,
but
But we're creating stress there in that property. You're kind of, you know what I mean, with the big buildings, with the two buildings in there. I
One
mean,
entry and entry.
you know what I mean? So it just seems it would make sense that when the city was in discussion with Rustic.
it makes sense, and we had that discussion, but there's no way to make it work. For Rustique's plan for the restaurant, you would have to push everything to the west side, and the restaurant's not gonna be facing, on the west, facing east. They have, besides a restaurant building, they have an outdoor entertainment, reception, they've got a lot going on, and yes, it's,
Well, I mean, it makes it, I think what you guys are, probably what I'm thinking, right? It looks real small, right? It looks like it's not wide enough, but I mean, what's the width of that hole?
we looked at providing a
it's probably
cross-access here,
huge.
but it does not work. If
Right.
you had you'd have to have 16-foot drive aisle for one way, 22 foot for two ways. You'd have to have 10 foot on each side. It eats up too much all the way down. And
What's the actual width of the front of that flagpole? What's the frontage of that
this
property?
here, this property?
Yeah. Probably in my packet.
It is 172 plus 100. So 200 and, no, it's 272.
So it's pretty wide. I mean, you know, when you put the buildings there, those lanes, I mean, you know, a fire truck would go in the front there and then they'll run lines all the way to the back. And, you know, they got
Yes.
the sprinkler systems in there, all the stand poles. And will there be some fire connects further back in the property or anything like that?
All the buildings, yeah, all the buildings, they'll have the appropriate amount of fire hydrants to fight, also for the FDC, and the storage facility will have.
So they don't actually have to bring an engine all the way back.
Yes.
You
And
only
so, we even have, we'll set up on the Rustique, I can't see, let me see if I can do it on the aerial, yeah, do it on this page. When you do cross-access, it's across the front. You don't go to typically a rear.
Right.
And across the front, we have an existing use. This site's gonna be brought up, have to be raised. It's developing today under today's guidelines. The vet that's next door just had to do an interior build out of a building. This site's gonna be raised such that we'll create the opportunity to have future cross-access, but they're not gonna construct it right now, because it would be, you can't construct it because of the difference in grades of the land.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions for staff?
One more question regarding phasing. is the plan for development of this to all occur by 2022? Or is this going to be gradually phased out? So it is planned for all to be in place by 2022?
All of the development, all the drive aisles, parking, stormwater, utility hookups will be done in one phase.
Okay,
And I'll let Alex, if he's,
So we do everything,
Alex,
we don't-
Alex, you to come up here and talk.
yeah.
Good evening, Commissioners. Yes, just to answer your question.
Just
this
state
will-
your name real quick.
I'm
for the
sorry,
record.
Alex Mezdak. Yes, the project will all be done simultaneously. There is no phasing in this where we would do a couple buildings in the front and then leave the storage. The plan is to do it all simultaneously.
Cool. Anybody have any other questions for staff? Okay, this is, we're gonna open up the public hearing. Is there anybody on the phone or emails at all for this?
I have received no calls and no emails.
Cool. We'll give it a minute or so. Did you want to speak, or
Well, I do have one question.
if you do, come on up. We'll grab your form again before you leave.
I know, right, yeah. Hi, my name is Tuesday Goodson. I'm at 212 Longhurst, which is right behind the pond that's right there. You were talking about the drainage.
This one, right?
Right there, yeah, that's me. That's me right there. You were talking about the pond and the drainage and that. There is a draining ditch in my backyard. So
So,
how
yeah.
is that drainage, is that gonna affect my yard?
Good question.
So,
Yeah, let me.
That would be
so
my
I can
question,
see the
yes.
mic. So how the drainage goes is, the basin is a closed basin. There's not a series of lakes that the water runs to. And so the drainage all comes through here and goes through the ditch. This pond pops and it runs this way. So as part of the drainage permit between the state, St. John's River Water Management District, and the city of Ocoee, the site has to hold what's called the 100-year storm event, and no more water than what currently hits the site and runs that way. Not another drop can do that in the post-development. So when they do all the development, that pond that you see has to hold a very significant stormwater event, and not a trickle of water more than goes to that ditch can go there. And so that's how it will be designed.
And when you're talking about the pond draining to the left, that water in my backyard actually drains to the right.
No, it should.
It does.
Well, the way the drainage goes is all of this, the whole thing goes that way. If it all ran, so maybe yours goes into a collection and goes back to that.
Because there's a grate, a metal grate.
Yes, yeah, and then it goes, then it gravities it, yes. So your lot's going that way, and it's putting it to the grate, then it's taking it.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we have any other calls or anything?
Nope, not at
Cool.
all.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public meeting.
And I just did want to state that we've got to take this, you're not going to see it for a while. We got to take it to a joint planning area agreement amendment with Orange County. And we'll take it with another item that we just got submitted. And then when it gets through that process, we'll be bringing it for the first reading of ordinance and second reading. So
Cool.
if you don't see something on it, it's not because they backed out. It's, we got to do another process.
I tell you, by now, I think we're all closed basin flood experts now from the
Yeah.
past 3 or 4 cases we've had. But, so we're closing the public, for public comment. Does anybody else have any questions for staff at all? All right, we're gonna need 3 motions on this. The first one will be for the annexation.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of the annexation of, annexation number AX 10-2094, which I believe is of 2647, because there was only one part of the property
Correct.
that needed annexing. So I move for, that we recommend approval of this annexation.
Perfect. I have on my notes, it's 24 2647 and 2663, is that correct?
For the annexation, it's just the 5.4 acre piece.
So the
Okay.
2647.
Yes.
Great, we have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. All right, now we need a second motion for the comprehensive plan.
What is the address for that one? Is it?
They're both.
Okay.
So they both have that, they both have the office land use, so they're both going to commercial.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to recommend rezoning to the PUD at 2647 Maguire Road and 2663 Maguire Road for RZ 2010-13.
All right, we'll switch to the rezoning then. We have
Would I flip them?
a motion, that's okay. We have a motion for approval for rezoning. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, carries. Now, can I have a third motion for the comprehensive plan?
I make a motion to approve the comprehensive plan.
Perfect. We have a motion to approve the comprehensive plan CPA 2020-003. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you very much. Good luck. Okay, miscellaneous, project status report. Mr. Rumor?
You can see, well, you can't see behind the fence, but City Hall had the foundation pour last week. We have opening bids for the final design of Blueford Avenue, which will run from Old Winter Garden Road up to Geneva, in which Geneva will have a roundabout. We had 4 respondents for engineering firms to win that job to finish that out.
Did you say Geneva will have a roundabout?
Yes.
What in the good Lord?
The Geneva, at Blueford to Geneva, there used to be, I'm told, some columns, like an entrance into the city.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Yeah.
try to make it really
That's great.
nice. So sort of the entrance into the downtown, even though it's not, the downtown, but it's kind of our downtown area. You'll see that the new 638 South Blueford, across from the cheer gym, is just got its final inspection. We have a building next to it, which will have an office and little warehouse component. But you're starting to see this, and the building's close to the road, and you'll see that there's not much landscaping. That's because from Geneva north to Orlando will be another phase where it'll look like Blueford. We're going to have street trees. So we didn't want these big oaks blocking and getting in the way of our future street trees. So that's why you see the cheer gym and that building, they have a lighter landscaping across the front. It's on purpose. They didn't skimp out.
Great.
We are nearing the completion of the Inspiration PUD. They built a very beautiful road off of Tommen into the site with landscape islands, continuing with the theme of what we've done on Maguire Road and on State Road 50. We have a 2 townhome developments under construction, one off AD Mims, the other off Clark Road. I'll be bringing a development agreement to the commission next week to facilitate the widening of Clark Road from AD Mims up to Clarecone, Ocoee. That'd be after execution of the documents, about an 18-month project. That's exciting. We have, as well, we have the light industrial, the largest building over off Maguire, the 409,000 square foot buildings getting finalized and looking to have a good user in there, somebody that's bringing a bunch of jobs. We've got a lot of things in the hopper. I was just submitted a large-scale, an annexation, a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment with a rezoning to PUD for an industrial user on Ocoee Popka Road. Do you know where the blueberry fields are up near before you hit Fuller's Cross? That land and some other land we'll be processing, and I'm hoping, I expect it'll get in front of this commission June, probably not May, depending on what happens, if we have to train, maybe July, but it's a big project. May get 2 more like it submitted, we'll see. We have a new building going on that broke ground on the south side of 50 at Marshall Farms. You know, when you're coming off the ramp and you've got the just brakes, but you've got that weird, you cross the road down that Marshall Farms. Heichel Plumbing is building a new facility. They're presently located adjacent city, and they're moving operation into the city. And they've had that land for a number of years, and they're developing. And that's within our CRA. That helps. We've got a lot going on. Any questions?
Sonny's is broke ground.
Yes, what they're doing right now is a demolition of the concrete under the Colony Plaza, and then they'll just shift over and start facilitating the build-out of that site and the Sunnies.
Great.
Yes.
Tijuana Flats, their sign came up where
They put their sign up first, and they're still doing the interior build-out. I know.
So they're not open.
they're not open.
yet. Yes, that's,
You know, like 3 days before they do, he's gonna be set out there with a tent.
Darn right.
yes.
All right. Anything else? All right, we got our calendars, which is great. Thanks, everybody, and if I could get a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Great, we are adjourned. Have a great day. Perfect.